An undersecretary at the Office of Special Assistant to the President, Bongo, on Thursday confirms he called a meeting with the Navy to discuss the selection of the combat management system supplier for the controversial $15.5 billion frigate project. Former Palace Undersecretary Lloyd Christopher Lau tells Rappler the letter dated January 18, 2017, in which he invited Rear Admiral Robert Empedrad to a meeting in Malacanang is real. But Lau says the meeting was normal procedure when there are complaints. Lau says the white paper, which Malacanang supposedly handed to Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, came from the winning bidder for the frigate deal, Hyundai Heavy Industries. Hyundai Heavy Industries expressed preference for another South Korean company, Hanwha Thales, to supply the CMS. Lau says Malacanang merely relayed the concerns of Hyundai Heavy Industries to the Defense Department regarding the delay of the implementation of the contract. Officials of the Philippine Navy and Hyundai Heavy Industries were debating which supplier was qualified to provide the CMS of the two frigates. The contention delayed the project since the construction of the ships couldn't start until the issue was resolved. Lau says all his office did was to ask Empedrad for clarification on the complaint they received. President Rodrigo Duterte has recently designated Empedrad as the new Navy chief. His designation was effective on December 19, the day former Navy Chief Vice Admiral Ronald Mercado was relieved from his post. It was supposedly former Navy Chief Mercado who did not want to accept Hanwha Thales as CMS supplier. That supposedly led to his sudden relief from his post. Lau, according to a Rappler source, was one of Go's most important aides as he dealt with all confidential investigations into presidential appointees and was among core officials who oversaw the finalization of Duterte's appointments. Lau is perceived to have so much of Go's trust that his communications are interpreted as instructions from Go himself. From Go's office, Lau was transferred to the Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board. He was appointed commissioner in April 2017. Malacanang earlier slammed Rappler for its supposedly baseless reporting on Palace involvement in the frigate project. Go denied he intervened in the frigate project. President Rodrigo Duterte also challenged Rappler to prove Go's involvement. If proven, he said he would ask Go to resign. Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre says his department will also probe Rappler's possible violation of other laws in connection to the Securities and Exchange Commission's cancellation of its registration. Solicitor General Jose Calida earlier said the Justice Department's probe will look at the anti-dummy law. Aguirre has formalized the investigation by authorizing the National Bureau of Investigation to conduct a case build-up. The anti-dummy law prohibits foreigners from intervening in any nationalized activity such as the operation of a media company, which should have 100% Filipino control under the Constitution. The SEC revoked Rappler's certificate of registration because of a clause in the Philippine Depositary Receipt Agreement with foreign investor Aguirre Network that it must be consulted before changing the company's articles of incorporation or bylaws. Rappler's lawyer Francis Lim said Aguirre waived the clause in December 2017. SEC Chairperson Teresita Herbosa said a copy of the waiver sent to them was not subscribed to by a notary or a Philippine consulate. But Lim insisted the revocation of registration was too harsh, adding that it was just Rappler Holdings Corporation, not Rappler Incorporated, which was a party to the PDR. Aguirre is convinced it is a circumvention of the Constitution. He says, quote, "You should not circumvent what is stated in the Constitution. In other words, you should not do even indirectly what is prohibited in the Constitution." Rappler, in a statement, slams the DOJ-NBI investigation as a fishing expedition. Rappler says, quote, "It's all the more clear and blatant what government's agenda is. They're dead set to get Rappler and kill press freedom." A social weather station survey shows a record high number of Filipinos are satisfied with the performance of the Duterte administration. The Duterte administration scored an excellent net satisfaction rating of positive 70 in December, up 12 points from its positive 58 net rating last September. The score surpasses the previous record high net satisfaction rating of positive 66, first obtained by the administration of Benigno Aquino in June 2013, and then by the Duterte administration in September 2016 and March 2017. The SWS says the higher rating is due to significant increases in public satisfaction in Mindanao, Metro Manila, and the rest of Luzon. The survey also found Filipinos are most satisfied with the Duterte administration's campaign against terrorism, while they are least satisfied with how it has fought inflation and managed the traffic problem. The Duterte administration got record high satisfaction rating from Class D in December, with an excellent positive 71 from a very good positive 60 in September. Among the poorest Class E, the Duterte administration satisfaction rating improved by 20 points to a very good positive 66 in December from a good positive 46 in September. Among Class ABC, the government got a statistically unchanged net satisfaction rating of positive 62 in December from positive 60 in September. Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez on Thursday says the House of Representatives will convene itself into a constituent assembly even without the presence of senators. This after senators opposed Alvarez's insistence on joint voting on charter change. Alvarez says, quote, "We will satisfy the requirement of the Constitution that says 3/4 of all Congress members. We will count all the members. We will take the 3/4. We will vote." The 1987 Constitution says the 3/4 vote of Congress is needed to make final proposals for charter change in the CONAS, but it is vague on whether this requires joint or separate deliberations on voting by the two chambers of Congress. Legal luminaries, including former Chief Justices and framers of the Constitution, said during a Senate hearing on January 17, voting should be done separately to reflect the current bicameral setup. The House earlier passed a resolution calling on Congress to convene as a CONAS. This would require a similar resolution from the Senate. Senator Panfilo Lacson, who filed a resolution for the Senate to convene as a separate CONAS, threatened with expulsion senators who would attend the House Assembly, as this would be seen as agreement to joint voting. Seoul and Pyongyang on Wednesday agreed to march together under a single flag at the Winter Olympics opening ceremony and field a united women's ice hockey team for the Games in a further sign of easing tensions on the peninsula. North Korea says it will send a 550-member delegation to the Winter Olympics and Paralympics in the South. South Korea has long sought to proclaim the Pyeongchang Games as a peace Olympics in the face of tension over the North's weapons programs. The move comes after North Korean leader Kim Jong-un announced his willingness to take part in the Games in his New Year's speech. The move was seen as a bid to ease searing tensions on the peninsula and was rapidly welcomed by Seoul.